Hi, this video's title is a bit extreme, but not fully wrong. Hear me out. If you haven't watched my previous videos, or don't know me, I've played all the previous Dragon Age games and I've finished them all several times. I consider myself a big fan of the series. I love the games. Let's talk about Veilguard once again. This time, I'm actually going to begin with the good stuff for once. The pros, and then later we'll talk about the cons. So first off, the combat is close to being honestly flawless in my opinion. It's smooth and satisfying to beat people up. The audio visual feedback, that's really good. It's satisfying to look at. And the abilities are flashy but not too flashy, you know, they're cool, they're cinematic, but it's not too much. It really just feels good to fight in Dragon Age Veilguard, and it's satisfying. That's the important part. It's good, it's satisfying, it's fun. The combat is fun, which is, you can't say that for every game actually. Secondly, the graphics and the world, they're just great. You get some beautiful scenery in Veilguard. The graphics are really good, works well on low-end machines, work really well on high-end machines too. You get this beautiful, amazing world that the graphics enhance, and they represent the world of Dragon Age really well too. The art is nice. It's also refreshing sometimes when they add some new colors and scenery to the world of Dragon Age. And they change up a bit of things like the fade. It's a bit different, but it's still really good if you compare it to the other games. It's really nice to see. The maps themselves, they can feel a little linear, and it feels like they're a bit built to be linear. But there are others that are really open, and you really like all the like verticality and the horizontal map layouts, and it does build into the world itself, and it's really nice. Lastly, the story. I have always loved the Dragon Age lore and the world the lore builds. Through the world and getting to hear it in the story is great, and exploring the different areas in the world, it's fantastic. The main story quests, or MSQ for short, they're really interesting in Veilguard. They build on the previous games, they continue the lore, and they kind of flesh it out, and you get to see where it ends up, right? It shows you what the previous games, well, I guess, built on. And that's great. It's not a standalone thing, it keeps going, which is really interesting, and I like that. It's super cool. Even previous characters are reappearing, like Morgan, Varric, Isabella. Maybe not all of them have an insane impact on the story, but some do. And it makes the world feel more cohesive, fluent, that it's part of the universe. You as a player realize that it's part of the universe, which is great. It's nice to see those reoccurring characters. It's fun. It's great. And so far, I've stated a lot of good things, and I am clearly enjoying a majority of the game, right? I like the gameplay, I like the graphics, I like the world, I like that there's previous characters. So what's the problem? I mentioned I like the combat, and I do like the combat. There's one thing about it I dislike, which is kind of really important, and that's how the companions are incorporated into the gameplay. In Veilguard, you have the least control of your companions, what they can do, and what you can do with them, compared to other games. You can tell the AI how to do their targeting, like if they should attack different targets, if they both should attack the same target, but it's very simple even then. You can also tell them to use only one ability at a time, one of the 3 abilities you pick for them, and those abilities can be comboed with another ability from the other companions, 3 choices. So it's only one ability per companion. And the party size is also reduced to 3, which was previously 4 in Dragon Age 1, Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age 3. Now, I'm not really saying that the changes are bad, or a change in general is bad. I don't. It's good to sometimes change up the formula and, throw it around and present it to people. Sometimes it's a refreshing change. Sometimes it's not. And you could consider these even as gameplay features, But I would have done that would it not have been a Dragon Age game. In the previous games, companions would have the same customizability as the main character, making for a lot of varied and fun and interesting builds. You can be really silly about it if you so wish, or you could not, Have you ever done 3 healer mages in one party? That's just really fun. And wacky, maybe useless, but you can. This game doesn't really offer the player, you, me, with any choices on what abilities to unlock. You just have a set of skills that the companions just have unlocked either instantly or in like 2 levels. They have everything, the whole skill tree unlocked for them, and you simply spec into buffs to the ability, so to say. And I didn't really like that. I love making builds in RPGs. RPGs are so fun because you can roleplay even as the companion sometimes in some games. You know, you can spec into healer or DPS or something specific as in crowd control or buffs, debuffs, whatever, you know? This game doesn't really offer you that. And that was kind of a letdown. A big one too. And the party size, I don't even see why the party size needed to decrease. But it just feels that the party size is smaller compared to other games. That feeling gives me even less freedom when it comes to my gameplay and my companion. But the whole combat and the companion system is not really what's fully keeping me from playing the game more. And here's the punchline: the dialogue and the companion. Now, I won't be talking about these two things too much, because if you've been on YouTube or if you've looked at other content creators, there is a huge amount of, well, videos about the dialogue, the conversations, the companions. If you have watched any reviews where people will say the game is great, except the dialogue, etc. I won't really be talking exactly about that. What I will be saying instead is that I have played almost every time I play the Dragon Age games, I've played them for the story. The characters and the dialogue between the characters, the world they make fluent, the feelings they share, they create together. They maybe hate each other, the rivalry, the familiarity, the way that dialogue feels like it's improving as you go, because even your companions, they don't know each other. They're not that familiar with each other, and then later they build some sort of, you know, relationship. Might it be bad or good, whatever. They still build a relationship as you go, and it's visible in their conversations between each other, not between you and the NPC, but the NPCs talking to each other, your companions talking to each other. And that's an amazing world building. I don't really see this in Veilguard. Everyone, as I've said in the previous videos, everyone keeps speaking as if they already know each other, which makes me feel alienated, and I don't feel like Veilguard offers me what the previous games has offered me. I am personally, me that is, not interested in any of the characters right now in the game. They are not interesting at all. And obviously this is a me problem, and it's my opinion, I get it, but I can only compare to the other games that I've played of Dragon Age, and in every Dragon Age game, yeah, there's been people I dislike. I don't really necessarily want them in my party sometimes, and there's other people that I have liked. I even like replaying the games because I have had a dislike for a character or just not an interest, and replayed it just to force myself to have these companions and play with them so I can kind of force the lore upon myself. But in that sense, I've noticed that every time I've done that, I've come to enjoy the character in some aspect. They have some redeemable qualities. You feel that they have humanity and that they're interesting, you know, talk about. For example, it could be Ogren from Dragon Age Origins. I never really vibed with Fenris from the second game, so I forced myself to play with him. And Fenris, he was really cool, you know, he's really edgy, a bit too edgy at times, but I still like his story. Even I initially didn't like Solas from the third game, but then I also forced myself to have Solas, and I really enjoyed having Solas. He was a really cool character. There was some sort of initial disinterest or dislike, and then it turned into an interest. And in this game, there's nothing with the companions. It just doesn't spark anything with me, because I feel like the companions aren't even interesting enough to be disinteresting. You know what I mean? They don't pull their weights enough in my eyes to make me feel uninterested or dislike them. I just don't want to see them. They're not compelling or interesting to have with me. And sometimes, this is gonna sound crazy, but sometimes I don't want to have any of the companions in my party. And that is weird. That is insane. This is a Dragon Age game, and a big part of the games, what it used to be, is the companions. And the game shouldn't make me feel that I don't want my own companions around. Sometimes I want to just play the game solo, really. I won't have any companions, but the game forces me to have someone with me. The companions, for me, and their presence, as I said, it's played a big part in the previous games. And now I get Veilguard, and I don't even want to have my companions around. It doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't make me want to keep playing the game. It was a big part for me in the games go through it with the characters, with the companions. It's like you share a journey with these individuals, and they share it with you, and you build a world with them, and you build relationships with them. But in Veilguard, it doesn't feel like that. It's not as interesting, in my opinion. And clearly, what I've said is very me-centered, you know? Someone might agree, some might disagree. And everyone plays the games differently and for different reasons. But for me, Veilguard is just not living up to what the previous games offered me. And I don't feel like playing it anymore. And I don't even know if I can beat it right now. I have genuinely no interest in finishing the game. You know what? It even made me want to play Dragon Age Origins. So as you see, you've got gameplay in the background. That's just me modding the game and playing it. Because the new game made me want to go back and play the other games. Because of how little I cared for it. It made me yearn for something else. For something that it used to be. Well, this is how I feel about the game. So do you agree? Do you disagree? How far have you got it? Do you plan on finishing even? What's your take on the companions? Let me know all that in the comments. And you know what? I'll see you in the next video.